Hi, and welcome to episode 104 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. And I, again, will never get tired of saying that. This week, we will be talking about pathwork and witchcraft, and it may not be what you're thinking, but
It wasn't what I was thinking.
it wasn't what I was thinking either. I thought it was going to be, you'll see. But we do want to say we pre-recorded our last couple of episodes, and luckily we did because River got COVID, and
Yeah.
so
And
um
I'm
it,
still sick,
yeah,
y'all.
it really helped us out. But maybe that's why last week's episode you're like, wow, River sounds great, they didn't even mention anything. Yeah, that's because it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um, yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit about, how your adventure went at Dragon Con and all of that. But first, what are we
At
drinking?
first, yes.
So we are into all of the fall things right now. We're September, right?
hmm
And I've already decorated my apartment for Halloween.
She did that like weeks ago, y'all.
I did that about like a couple weeks ago.
hmm
Because why only decorate for a month when you can have it for 2 months? We're
Right?
we're starting to slide into a little bit cooler air, a little nice weather. I mean, it's still like you sweat in the afternoon, but in the morning it feels great, you know?
hmm
But yesterday was Mabon, right?
Yes, yes.
When this comes out, yesterday was Mabon.
hmm
And so we had to come up with an apple drink. And I found this one. I'm gonna say I found this on TikTok.
We tweaked it a bit for
We
our own
did.
selves.
But first you'll want to rim your glass, make sure it's like a mixture of maybe cinnamon and sugar, maybe some nutmeg, like whatever fall-esque you want in there. And
Pumpkin
then
spice, maybe.
pumpkin spice, that sounds delicious. Then you use an apple slice to make the rim wet, get a little bit of apple
hmm
juice. Then dip the glass into your sugar mixture. Then you're going to pour some apple cider into your glass, make it fancy with a champagne glass or whatever you want. If you want it to be a
hmm
red solo cup, let it be a red solo cup.
Whatever works, man.
Whatever
We're
works. I mean,
down.
hey, a red solo cup, you can hold more. So
That this is true.
and then you're going to top off with a little bit of sparkling wine of your choice. It could be, brute like River likes, or for
Yes.
me, I would might do like a bubbling Riesling or something like that.
hmm
Like that just
hmm
sounds like a Riesling. I did do a Riesling. I couldn't think of another one. On top, I mean, it needs to be something sparkly because it kind of gives you like a bubbly sensation.
Yes. I love the
So
bubbles.
like anything flat, like I'm a sucker for Moscato, but that just wouldn't work for this one.
hmm
Um, and so then you're gonna want to add a cinnamon stick for garnish, and it adds a little bit more cinnamon flavor if you want.
hmm
And then you also can put some apple slices on your as a garnish as well. And
hmm
then we will call this one Autumn's Kiss.
Yes. Yes.
So
It is addicting. It is very,
it's
very good.
very good. And I will say, I do have a pumpkin scented cantle. Wow. Candle going. And I have a mood and on the TV behind me. I'm in a different location. I'm on my couch today. And
hmm
so I put a little Halloween scene from YouTube on my computer. My brain's not working. On my TV
Mine either. I still
behind
have
me.
COVID brain. But
Yeah.
yeah, the my husband got out the dehydrator and made dehydrated apples so that I could use them in my
Ooh,
drink recipes. He's so sweet.
that's so
And
nice.
they're so good by themselves. I mean,
Like little crispy bits.
yeah, when you dehydrate them down, the sugar is condensed and it just is so sweet and
Don't they
yummy.
get like kind of like bendy? Not so like
hmm
where they don't snap, but they get bendy.
You can make them go all the way until they snap, but I wanted them a little bit
Like
bendy.
bendy. Ooh, that sounds so good right now.
And they look so cute in cocktails.
I bet. I bet. I don't have
hmm
any of those because you're over there. You're over there being
hmm
fancy. I'm over here
Well,
with
and
my
you don't want to be over here with me sick
no, no.
anyway. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other for like, I don't know, well, it's been 3 weeks
It feels like we
plus.
haven't podcasted in a long time, but it's
Yeah.
maybe been about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit, I don't know, man. But anyways, how was your Dragon Con?
It was lovely, other than the fact that I caught
That you
COVID.
got COVID.
But it I didn't feel sick at all until the day we came home. So I was able to
Yeah.
enjoy and spread COVID.
And
I mean,
spread
I
it.
got it there, and I'm sure I spread it there because I didn't know I
Yeah.
was sick until Sunday.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. I really got to enjoy it. And there were some really cool witchy things there,
Ooh.
which I didn't remember. I mean, they have witch hats and stuff every year, which I've bought one from there, of course, before, but they had all kinds of witchy things. They even had a panel that talked about voodoo. And so I'm going to see if I can get in touch with the people in charge and see if they will do a witchcraft track. And
Ooh.
maybe Ren and I can do a class,
Ooh,
and
that would be
wouldn't
fun.
that be
Now, I
fun?
would have to come up with like basically a whole curriculum to teach, and I don't know if I can do that.
Well, there's lots of witches too, and we
Oh
listen to their
man.
podcast, so we could see if they would be willing to come
Oh,
too.
that's very true.
I don't know how it all works, but I
Hmm.
have someone who knows
Who
someone
knows someone?
who is active with Dragon Con. So
Hmm.
if we can
Hmm.
get a witchcraft track up, then maybe next year y'all can come to Dragon
Oh
Con
yeah, that would be so
and
much
we
fun.
could meet you and you could meet us. It would be
And
so
hopefully not
fun.
get COVID.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm still sick. I mean, it's been
Yeah,
3 weeks and I'm
yeah.
still sick.
Also, I want to say we ranked, okay, you're gonna have to help me out here because I can't remember the website, but we
Ugh.
ranked 10 in witchcraft
Yes,
podcasts out
that
of
was so
many.
exciting. It was like
Oh,
feed something, something feed.
no, not BuzzFeed.
That's close though,
It's
something like that.
close. Let me find it. And then we were so excited, and it was actually my husband who submitted for us, and I had no idea.
I had no idea either. He's so
Uh-huh.
awesome.
He was super excited. Let me see if I can find it in our email. Feed spot.
Feed spot.
So we are ranked 10th place, like 10 out of the section of top 50 which podcasts, we are ranked 10.
Which
So
is
it's
so
super
exciting.
exciting. So we are high on that list, and we could potentially even be higher because we were looking at it, and they base our rankings off of like how many followers we have on certain social media platforms, and some of their numbers were incorrect due to, like, it's a process to get
Right.
everybody's numbers. And so we had gone up a little bit. So I think we're probably maybe even a little bit higher on that list. But if you guys are interested, go check out FeedSpot because that's a great way to find podcasts in ranking from however they rank it, listens
And
wise, social media wise.
along those lines, follow us on all of our social media. That would help us
Yes,
out
it
tremendously.
helps us a
So,
lot. Like, I mean, we don't benefit like money wise or anything out of all of
no,
this, but it does get our name out there. It gets us
yes.
more listens. And, we would love to make this a full time job. I would love to make this a full time job because I am currently still unemployed. So this is my full time job right
Wow.
now.
Yeah, I haven't even talked to you because I've been so sick, but
Yeah,
I
like
was
we haven't really
no news
even.
on the job front. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Oh.
It's been a journey, but hey, everything happens for a reason. And I wasn't meant to get the positions that I interviewed for and everything
Hmm.
because there's something better for me
I think
out
so.
there.
I think so.
So it's not like, but I have cried.
Oh.
Yeah, let's talk about Pathwork and not about me crying.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So when you hear Pathwork, you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Right?
Well, it's not what I thought.
No. So, and I came up with this idea thinking that it was going to be something else, and then it wasn't, kind
Hmm.
of.
Which we've had that happen before,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
wonderful. A
Yeah.
wonderful thing about doing this podcast.
So, pathwork in witchcraft is a technique used in modern witchcraft and spiritual practices, particularly within the realms of Wicca and other pagan traditions. So it involves guided meditation or visualization exercises that allow practitioners to explore different spiritual realms, connect with specific deities, elements or energies and gain insights into themselves and the universe. Now, I will say we've been on a roll with our topics
We
recently,
we really have.
and it's all been about self-discovery and inner
Mm-hmm.
working and, working through your demons.
Yep.
And this is also one of those things. So,
Mm-hmm.
pathworking can be a powerful tool for self-discovery, personal growth, and deepening one's understanding of magical and spiritual concepts.
Yeah, it really reminds me a lot of shadow work to some extent, but
Yeah.
not the same, but a lot of that. So we really are on a roll with these topics. Now, before I did research on this, I thought it was going to be about the path that witches choose, like, oh, I'm a water witch or I'm a kitchen witch, but
Hmm.
that's a totally different thing.
Hmm.
Um,
No, because I thought it was going to be like, I mean, and kind of in a sense, it kind of is, but like each path that you take, like each choice that you make is another decision that'll lead you down a different path, and then working from there and maybe sitting down, kind of like chess, where in your head you play through the next moves that you need to
mhm.
make to be able to win. And so I thought of path work as sort of like that. You sit down, you look at what you want your life to be and what paths you need to take to get there. So,
Yeah, and I think that's accurate to some degree. Pathwork will lead you to the magical path, in that it's going to offer you guidance in understanding yourself, which then, of course, will lead you to, how do you want to practice, be it kitchen witchery or river witchery,
mhm.
or whatever. And also, as we've said many times before, every witch is different.
Mhm.
So, say you and I were both kitchen witches. The way you do kitchen witchery and the way I do kitchen witchery are two different things. Our
Yes.
paths are two different paths.
Mhm.
Um, and it's also, I wanted to, as I started going through this and realizing it wasn't what I thought it was, I'm like, well, maybe we should define what a path is,
Oh. Mhm.
which a path is a route or track between one place and another, or the direction in which something is moving. It is a set of actions, especially ones that lead to a goal or result. It is a way or track made by or for people walking on the ground or a line along which something moves. A path is also a set of actions that lead to a result or goal, which is more what we're talking about with this
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah.
Um, I found this really cool blog post. It was by porcelainpumpkin.blogspot.com, and it kind of helped me understand a little bit better what pathwork and witchcraft was. So she said, or he said, I'm not sure which
Uh-huh.
who wrote it, but when a witch first steps foot on the road to witchcraft, he or she begins his or her path. A witch's path is her personal journey. Everything she learns, all that she encounters, all of that happens along her path.
Mhm.
So path work, unlike traditional witchcraft, in that it does not depend on a direct source, an outside source. The
Mhm.
only source that path work requires is you yourself.
Mhm.
So a witch might follow or, believe in an established traditional witchcraft, but our journey doing that traditional or established witchcraft is not going to be the same as others who do that same traditional or established witchcraft.
Mhm. Yeah.
And this article talked about the difference between pathwork being individual to the witch and tradition, which is something passed among witches, to other witches. And she said, the moment a witch makes her path public and willingly shares her knowledge to a pupil or a seeker of the arts, that witch then establishes a tradition. But that doesn't mean her path is no longer a path. What what she did to get to that point is completely her own and completely personal. The choices she made along her path are going to be different, so she passes on her knowledge.
Mhm.
Someone else is going to take that knowledge, like I my practice is a mishmash of a whole bunch of different practices that are out there. And that's my path work,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not the path work. I'm never going to understand what the person who created that tradition thought and went through. It's um, all you can do is pass on that information, but they'll never know what was in the mind of the witch that who wrote that spell.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's so important, honestly, to write your own spells. I don't think it's a bad thing to get an idea off the internet,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean,
but tweak
no,
it to you.
yeah, no idea is like original. Like I feel like
That's true.
everything's already been done. If you can think about it, somebody's already also thought about it. So, I mean, we can grab guidance and ideas from wherever, like
Mhm.
books, online, other
Mhm.
people, etc., and then tweak it to what we need. Which I feel like,
Hey,
I mean, I do that a lot, and I feel like a lot of people do that.
I
Question
think
mark, do
so.
they?
I think so. Because we and witchcraft is especially unique in this way. It's not like when you're teaching science, the atom is the atom no matter what you do with it. It's still going
Mm-hmm.
to be the
Mm-hmm.
atom. With witchcraft, we all access the energies in our own ways. So it's not like teaching a set rule. It is bendable to the will of
Mm-hmm.
whoever is
Mm-hmm.
the practitioner. Um, and so she said, this is what separates pathwork from tradition. Everything the witch felt, thought, saw, said, created, expressed, that all belongs to that witch's path. All the practices that she compiles over the years along her path become a tradition once she hands them down to her daughter or to her
Mm-hmm.
coven or whatever. But it's up to each person that she hands it off to experience that magic in their own way through their path.
Mm-hmm.
So your path might be the choices that you make in your craft, but path working is delving into your choices to gain insight into yourself. Why did you choose that? Why was that choice made? What was your thought process for that? And then that helps you choose your path as far as how you want to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to be a water witch? Am I a fire witch? That kind of thing.
It hurts my head.
I know it's this is I not
It's
this
a
did
lot.
it went to a totally different place than I
Yeah.
expected it to
Yeah.
go. Since pathwork is a path of transformation as well as transcendence, which I think all witchcraft is,
Mm-hmm.
the work of illuminating and transforming the shadow self is not the final objective. So that's why it's different than shadow work. It's not just about finding your shadow self and what's wrong. It's about what you do with it after that.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you use, wow, path working in your witchcraft practice? There are very many ways to work pathwork into your practice. It can be one-on-one with a friend, like River. I mean, Jesus, my COVID brain is a mess.
River and myself. Like
Me,
yourself.
myself, and
Me,
I,
myself, and I.
uh, Ren and I kind of started this way with this one-on-one path work together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but it might be embarrassing to explore your dark side with a friend. That's why we're so close. We don't have that problem, but some people might. But Helen Keller once said, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light, which I thought
That's
that
interesting.
applies to this. So, yes, find your coven, find your
Like
one-on-one witch
home,
friend.
like
Yes.
the people
Mm-hmm.
that you can call home, essentially.
Yeah. And walk with them into the dark and find your path. You can do workshops or group work with your coven. There are workshops. That might be something we could do at Dragon Con is have
Oh,
a
yeah.
pathwork workshop, which would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Books, research, internet, obviously.
Yes.
Tarot. Tarot is a great way to work with pathwork, which I am getting more and more and more into tarot cards as time goes on. They are so eye-opening and profound to me. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I
But
found mine.
you found yours?
Yeah, I remember how they were hiding from me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I found them.
So are they happy to see you?
No.
No. Oh my goodness.
No.
But the first place that you need to start when you're going to do path work is to look inside yourself. That's very similar to shadow work. I found another quote that also rings true. It says, "Do not be afraid to travel a new path. It may be the way to find what you've been looking for all along." You're going to have to explore yourself to go down this path work, and you can do it in any way. And I think that you went into a lot of depth about how how do we do path
Yeah.
work.
I mean, I feel like a broken record
I mean, a lot of this is
because
so
I say the
similar.
same things every time, maybe with like a small differentiation, how whatever the word is in there, like depending on the practice that you're in, or depending on if you're working with water magic or chakra work or like whatever. But I feel like
Hmm.
everything starts out the same way.
I think
Where,
so because, yeah, your
yeah,
magic, the way you work with magic, I think you have to be centered within yourself before you can actually
I mean, I feel like all of this needs
practice.
to be what like second nature, you know?
Hmm.
Like it needs to just be like, oh, before I do this spell or before I start working with my shadow or blah blah blah, all of this already just needs to be like second nature, like instinct
Yeah,
at
this
this
is what we do.
point.
It should be
Yeah.
what we do. Well, tell us what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Tell me how to do this.
Tell me how. So, I mean, you're always going to want to start with preparing or having like that preparation. You know how we cleanse our spaces, you know,
Hmm.
whatever it may be. So, in preparation for this, you're going to want to find a quiet and comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. You're going to set the mood by lighting candles, playing soothing music, or using other sensory elements that may relax you. Could be, you know, water, fall sounds, like whatever it may be, whatever
Hmm.
you need. And I mean, I know I say like turn off the lights and put on the candles, but if you need to do it in a bright room that has only sunlight, do that. You know, like
That's true.
whatever.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah. And so in this preparation, it's very crucial for path working, as it is, I feel like for everything else, it's very crucial to create a conductive environment for deep and meaningful experience. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple of steps to prepare for a successful path working session.
Okay.
So you'll choose a suitable time and space. And I feel like time we don't really talk about as much. But the time of day also is very important when you're going to want to choose your path working and how you start.
Well, I
So,
mean, in time, not just time in that, oh, sunrise is important for this and noon is important to this, but as parents, time when the kids are at school or time, when they're having their bath for the night,
hmm,
that's important too, because trying to get yourself into a comfortable, non-disturbed place when you've got children is a very difficult thing. So time that way
yeah,
is something that you need to think about as well.
I wouldn't know about that. I have no kids.
You have
Sorry,
you have
River.
animal children,
I have
so
fur babies, but
fur
it was
babies.
funny off the topic of me being unemployed. I saw a TikTok where it was like, I know I'm off topic, where they were my generation, you know, and they were like, yeah, like here's the day in my life of my generation who has no kids, and it's like like them and their partner, and they're like financially stable and they're happy and they're doing things like cooking together in the evening, and they only have like one cat or one dog, and they're vibing, and like they have everything they could want plus more, and like savings, and they have all of this stuff, and I'm over here and an unemployed. Like sure, like my husband and I could have that, but
We don't right
we
now.
don't right now. So anyways,
So back to the
back to
time and
before my
space
brain
thing.
jumped to TikTok and all of that. You're gonna want to select a time. This is where it all started. Time,
Hmm.
when you won't be interrupted. Like you have to
Yeah.
find a
Good luck.
quiet, comfortable, yeah, for real,
three
comfortable
o'clock in the
space.
morning. But then at three
Not
o'clock in the
even,
morning, that's the devil's hour, and then you got
yeah,
the
yeah.
demons
Or
coming to visit.
or you could live in an apartment complex, and like how my husband and I woke up this morning at 5:23 to our upstairs neighbor vacuuming above us. So
Okay.
it's great.
So we
So
understand that finding time and space is
it's
going to be
hard.
difficult, but you
It's
got to do
very
it.
difficult, but you got to do it. It could be a cozy room, a quiet corner of nature, or any place where you feel at ease. And it could even be at work on a lunch break. If you guys like at work, I don't know where you work, if there's like small breakout rooms, it could be in the bathroom, it could be
Or
any,
just outside on a park
yeah,
bench if you're
any
lucky enough
space.
to be in an area
Yeah,
that has one of those.
yeah.
I mean,
And then,
Atlanta has wonderful outside spaces.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So cleansing and purifying. So before beginning, you might want to perform a cleansing or purification ritual to clear the space of any negative energy. So let's say you are at work and you're trying to set your intentions and do all of this and work with Pathwork, then you're going to want to clear that space because who wants any of that work mojo in your magic work? Like you don't want that.
And River got sent home because she set off the fire alarms while she was
No, no, no,
smudging
no,
the
no, no.
office.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. That's not what I'm talking about. You can also cleanse your space other ways too.
This is true.
So, cleansing can involve smudging with sage or other cleansing herbs. And then you can also use salt water, like salt
Hmm.
water, and then flick some water around. Anything that aligns with your practice. So, I mean, I usually use incense. You know, incense is what I use to cleanse. And then obviously River uses some sage and all of that.
Yeah, I don't do it at work. I would be fired.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
not because I mean my boss is great. There's no it's not a religion thing or anything like that. I can just River, you've set off the fire alarm again. It's
Again, this is your fourth warning and it's your final.
yeah. So yeah.
And then after you're done with that, I would recommend no smoke alarms going off. After you do that, you decide on the purpose of what your path working session is about. Are you seeking guidance? Are you wanting to connect with a deity? Are you exploring an aspect within yourself, or is it something else? So,
Hmm.
clarifying your intention will help focus your energy and guide your visualization.
Yeah, you're right. This is all stuff we've
We
said
all talk
before.
about this all the
Yeah.
time. I feel like a broken record.
Hmm.
And then you're going to want to ground and center yourself. Spend a few moments grounding and centering yourself by closing your eyes, taking in deep breaths, and visualizing roots or extending your body into the earth, anchoring you to the ground. You know, I need to do another Ren
You do.
meditation now
I'm
that
ready for another
I'm.
one. Yes.
And so this helps balance and root you to what you need. Like it helps,
Hmm.
I guess, and it's another way of clearing your mind and just grounding you. I don't know how else to like define grounding you.
Do you like to go barefoot outside like I do and walk in the
I
grass?
I love it, but with the Jarrow spiders and everything out right now, I just bleh.
Oh,
I can't do. I know I say I love it outside, but I can't do bugs.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
usually
just,
they're fine. It's just the Jarros, they hang either low or high, and you just have no idea where they are because
and they share their webs. That's the
they share
weirdest
their
thing I've
webs.
ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband and I, we went on a trail, a different trail than what we usually do. It's about like maybe like 30 minutes out from where we usually are.
See, look at you getting healthy while you're unemployed.
Yeah, that's true. I am getting healthy and, doing
That's
things.
awesome. Yeah.
Um, because I do have time for myself, kind of. That
Hmm.
I have time for myself and TikTok.
And
Um,
TikTok.
but we were on this path and it didn't look like a very well frequented path. Like there were people, but like there were other extensions of this path that you could take. Look, path work and the path.
And look at us
Yeah.
go.
And it was funny. My husband is hilarious when he's uncomfortable. Because it was just like there was like a Jarro spider like hanging there, and oh man, and he just says the most funny things when it's just so hilarious. Like he was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off walking through a forest, and it was just they were everywhere. And so in that case, in that instance, like I love it outside and I love being in the woods and all of that, but in that
Hmm.
instance I wanted to leave. Like I didn't want to be there because I was uncomfortable with all the Jarros. They
Yeah.
were everywhere. And we were like we were out of the forest at one point and walking through like some tall grass. Like it was like a little path, but like the grass was kind of slanted into the path, which is normal. There was a
Mm-hmm.
jarro, like a large jarro web, like slanted into the path. And I was like, oh
Oh.
my gosh, like, can we please just leave these jarro spiders?
I mean, I don't like spiders either. And the mosquitoes, I'm an O positive person, and apparently that's mosquitoes' favorite blood source. So
Oh, I don't
yeah,
know what
we'll
I am.
we'll go outside and I'm getting eaten up, and I'm it's like I'm the
You're the
magnet to
magnet.
all of the, yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, this is
Yeah, it's
great.
great.
I'm
It's
like,
great because when you're
no.
there, none of us get eaten. So it's like I can actually sit outside and enjoy it, and you're over here like
Yeah.
you're
But
miserable.
I like to walk barefoot. There is just something about your feet in the grass on the dirt
Hmm.
that does something. I
No,
think
I'm
it's,
right there with you. It's just
yeah,
with the bugs that we have right now.
yeah.
Ugh,
Well, as it
yeah.
gets cooler, we won't have those
Yeah, we
anymore.
won't have many. Yeah. Back on topic. We're going off topic a little bit, maybe because we haven't seen each other or
We
talked to each
haven't.
other in a
It's
little bit.
been a long time. Yeah.
But sensory enhancements. So, and I we haven't really talked about these as much. So, engage your senses to create an immersive experience. So, like your candles, but also
Hmm.
soft music. We don't really talk about music, and I think music can have a very magical, if you want to say, sense in our magical practices.
I actually have a soundtrack that I listen to when I'm casting my jar spells that I
Mm-hmm,
do.
mm-hmm.
That's on YouTube. It
Ooh,
it is witch music, and I
oh,
found it, and it's lovely. I think music does add
it
something.
really does. We don't really
Yeah.
talk about music as much, or
Hmm.
really ever that I
We
can think
probably
of.
should do an episode
Like
on
a whole
music
episode on
magic.
music,
Yeah.
rock music for this type of witch. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. Viking music for
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can use essential oils or incense to create that soothing atmosphere, aroma, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
This,
Smell for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
the sensory elements can help you transport like you deeper into the state of consciousness, and that's what I try to do. I try to pick really good calming background music when I do my meditations. I've only done two, but I've tried to pick the best ones that can
Hmm.
go in the background and not
And
distract you, but also put you
for
in that place.
for those of you who are not patrons, that is, she does these wonderful guided
Oh,
meditations
yes. I guess I should
that
explain.
are for our patrons only, and they are lovely. She has done two so far, and we are all
Yeah.
anxiously awaiting
Yeah.
more.
I've been
So,
needing to do one, and I think I'm gonna do this one longer with like longer spaces in between because I
okay.
talk really fast.
Hmm.
And so to add a couple of chunks in there where you can really visualize it instead of hopping from one vision to the next.
Hmm.
That's my plan. So stay
Okay.
tuned on
Stay
Patreon.
tuned and get it on Patreon only.
Yes. And then relaxation techniques. So practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, like muscle relaxation, meditation, ease your mind of any tensions in your body. And I know that's super hard because there's a lot going on, especially like everything's so expensive right now. You have to stress
Hmm.
about that. You have to stress about your kids. You have to stress about your animals, your spouse, your whatever it may be, yourself, the car, if you're having car problems. Like there's a lot of stuff that can
There's
go wrong.
always something. So
And
you've got
so
to take this
it's,
time to
yes,
relax.
it's
Yeah.
very important to clear your mind and relax. And
Hmm.
then you can also do visualization exercises. So simple, like for pathworking, enhance your ability to create those detailed mental images and like visualize an apple or a tree or an apple tree or any object to see it vividly in your mind so that you can do that with what you're trying to like hone in on for your pathwork.
I always visualize fire for some reason. It's just
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful and wild and untamed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mine is
Yeah.
usually like a forest or like an open field surrounded by forest with the wind blowing and like the
Hmm.
fall and some leaves are falling, but not all of them are have fallen off.
Hmm.
That's what
Hmm.
that's my happy place.
Hmm.
And then you're also going to want to take protective measures. So some practitioners like to visualize a protective barrier around themselves before they start pathworking. And this barrier can help keep you safe during your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then setting intent with tools. You can use any specific tool like a tarot deck or runes, or
Yes.
you might want to draw a card and or cast runes to gain insight into your pathwork intention, like whatever it is. I feel like a broken
See,
record.
I think that's a great idea because a lot of us are going, okay, so we have to do path work and we know we need to do it, but we don't know what our intention is. And I think using runes or tarot can
Mm-hmm.
help
It
you,
can help you. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
decide which path, you need to explore, what it is that you're trying to focus on for this particular path working session.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then journal. Here's another excuse to have a journal.
Another
Another
journal.
journal. So
Sorry, honey.
what number journal is that now?
553.
Exactly. And this one will have a big stamp on the front, pathworking.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, keep a journal or notebook nearby to record your experiences after the session. This allows you to really capture your insights and observations immediately while they're fresh. Like, I don't know how else to really hone in on, like, it's very important to do it immediately
Hmm.
after, because that's when you'll have the most detail, you'll remember the most, because as time goes on, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
was
you're
it
gonna
that or
forget
was
it.
it this? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then duration and timing. Decide how long you want your pathworking session to last. It could be a short 10-minute session or longer 30-minute session or more. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours. So set a
Hadn't thought of
timer.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
set a timer and use a gentle alarm. Gentle. When I say gentle, it needs to be like the
Bang,
spark.
bang,
No,
bang.
yeah. I wake up to the bat bat and I'm in like shock every morning, but it's what I need to jolt myself awake. But from this, you need to have something gentle. Like you don't want to be like snapped out of it immediately. It needs to be a gentle release.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a whole lot of work. I found another quote. Today is quote day, apparently. Pocahontas once said, sometimes the right path is not the easiest one. So
See, you're on a roll with these
these quote
quotes.
things, I don't know where that came from. Usually it's some did you knows, but
Did you know? No, it's quote time. What
quotes
you
today.
need to say like River's quote of the day? I don't know.
Quote of the day. I could do like posts on Instagram and Facebook of a quote of the day or
Quote
something.
of the day. No, but that's a great like saying. It's like not always the easiest, but it's the one that you have to take. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just honing in too close to home right now for me and my
Hmm.
job searching. Um, so then now you're gonna again continue with the centering and grounding. So once you've begun with the your path working, you're gonna want to stay grounded
Yeah.
and you're gonna want to center yourself and find your inner balance and alignment.
Yeah.
And
I think this is good for you to explain because we talk about it. Oh yeah, you center and ground, but
yeah,
we've never said how do you do that?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I was struggling earlier of like how to ground, like define grounding.
Yeah,
So,
especially if you can't go outside barefoot, like it's winter time in
yeah,
Pennsylvania or whatever. How
yeah.
do you ground?
So, grounding and centering are foundational practices in many spiritual and meditative traditions, including pathworking. And so,
Hmm.
they help you establish a stable and balanced energy foundation, ensuring that you're connected to the present moment in your inner self. So it involves connecting your energy to the earth, allowing excess energy to flow out of you and maintaining that sense of stability. And this practice can help you feel rooted, focused, and present. And I guess focused is a very good word for it. Like it's
Well,
you're
that
focusing on that.
and you're ridding yourself of excess
Like,
energy that
yeah,
how
yeah.
you feel when you drink too much caffeine and you're all jittery. You can get
Yes,
that way
yes.
with energy as well. And so by allowing the earth to reabsorb some of your energy, it does help calm you down.
That's
That makes
very
sense.
true.
Hmm.
So, centering is about finding your inner balance and alignment, and it involves bringing your awareness to your core self, and core self as in mentally and physically.
Okay.
So it is how to center specifically is find a comfortable position. Like probably for me would be like crisscross applesauce or
Mm-hmm.
I mean pretty much like that. Or if you're in like a chair, then like normal legs straight in front of you, down, both feet planted on the floor, and your
When I
shoulders
when I
up
do
and
my
down.
chakra, I lay down
Oh, laying down would
because
also
I
be
feel
good.
like my whole body then is horizontal to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Maybe that's wrong.
No,
I don't
laying
know.
down for you is good. Like
Yeah, that
it's
works for
whatever
me.
it's whatever works for you. So for
Yeah.
me, I like the idea of having my feet on the ground. For some reason, it has to do a lot with my feet. And so
Mm-hmm.
I like my feet flat on the ground. Whereas
Okay.
if you're laying down or crisscross applesauce, my feet, like it's more like your butt or like your whole back is on the
Mm-hmm.
ground, but I like my feet being on the ground.
That makes sense.
So sit, stand, lay in a comfortable position, and then you can do this indoors and outdoors, but I like outdoors because
Mm-hmm.
you're more connected with the earth. Then you're
Unless there's
gonna
spiders.
unless there's spiders. I hate spiders. I really hate spiders. And then you're going to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths by inhaling deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand and exhale slowly through your mouth. So then, I don't know why I said that weird, but then you're going to visualize your roots. So imagine that you're growing roots from the base of your spine or the soles of your feet, depending on how you're laying or sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then exactly the roots extend deep into the earth's core, anchoring you firmly.
This talking about feet.
I love
I have a
feet.
did you know? Did you know that the human foot has 26 bones, 33 joints, and 20 muscles?
I knew about
There
bones.
there are 8,000 nerves in your feet,
Ooh.
more than any other part of your body. And then considering that in our past, our ancestors, like pre ancestors,
Hmm.
did a lot of walking barefoot. There was no such thing
Yeah,
as
yeah.
shoes back then. It makes me wonder what connection and grounding we in this life generation are missing because we wear shoes
Yeah. And we pave everything.
and we pave everything.
Everything's paved with this asphalt that gets super hot during the summer.
Hmm. I mean, I personally don't wear shoes as often as I can get away with not wearing shoes.
Hmm.
When I was in high school, I broke my toe because I kicked a desk because I wouldn't wear shoes. And the principal had to call my mom and say, "Yeah, it's at an odd angle." But I don't like to wear shoes. But when walking barefoot, our body absorbs the free ions from the Earth's surface, which act as antioxidants. And these
Oh,
antioxidants enhance our health and lead to positive feelings in the body. So, unfortunately, most people today, they spend the majority of their time wearing shoes and inside. And so there are so many of us that are failing to have this benefit of the grounding that you're
hmm.
talking about.
Do you think their feet like long ago had were more like tough than ours? Like the
Oh, for
bottoms,
sure.
definitely, because ours are like protected in our shoes and soft and everything. So does that mean ours are more
Oh, yeah. I watch
sensitive?
Naked and Afraid. Have you
Yeah,
ever watched that show?
yeah.
And they have no clothes on when they go, and the feet are the hardest part for these people because we are all protected by shoes so often. They try to prepare and go barefoot and all of that to toughen
Mm-hmm.
it up, but it's just everyday life. You can't go barefoot into restaurants and you can't go
Yeah,
barefoot into
yeah.
grocery stores. And so, yeah, I think their feet were tougher back then, but
Mm-hmm.
they also had that joyous connection to the earth that we don't have anymore.
That's true. That's very true. It's sad when you put it
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm. I agree.
Um, and then off of your roots, like you've anchored your roots in,
Mhm.
you're going to connect with Earth's energy. So as you visualize these roots, feel a sense of connection with Earth's energy. Imagine drawing up, stabilizing, and grounding energy from Earth through your roots. So you're drawing, like you're grabbing this energy from the Earth and feeling it in your roots.
That
Then you're
makes
going
me
to,
think of when my kids love Harry Potter.
mm-hmm,
And so I do summer Harry Potter camp sometimes when I have time. And I had them do this. I always try to make it a teaching moment. And I bought this kit where you could grow root vegetables
Ooh.
and you can see through it. So it had the
Oh.
dirt, but it was clear on each side so they could
Mm-hmm.
watch the earth and the roots grow into the earth. It was the coolest thing. And that makes me think of what you're talking about. That's how I would visualize it,
Mm-hmm.
is the roots like that growing into the earth.
I like that. Yeah.
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 Um, After that, you're going to want to shift your focus to your core. So, like again, the being like your core of your physical being and your mental being. Visualize a bright light or a serene space within you, and that's your center. So whatever feels at home, I
I
suppose,
like
is your
that. Yeah.
center.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to balance and align yourself. So, but to do this, you're going to imagine all your scattered thoughts, emotions, everything, and you're going to align it and balance it and bring it tranquil. And remember, this is all under how to ground.
So you like bring all those thoughts to
Mm-hmm.
your center
Mm-hmm. Because
within that bright
I
light,
mean, we talk about grounding yourself and then setting your intention. Like this is setting your intention within the grounding of yourself.
the centering of yourself
Of
inside.
yourself.
Okay.
Yes. And then you're going to set your intention again. So
Mm-hmm.
while you're centered, you remind yourself of your pathworking intention or what you're doing in this grounding moment, and then you're going to visualize with a clear, vibrant image in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know I've already said that, but this is within the again understanding of grounding.
Right.
So then you're going to hold on to that energy through whatever it is you're doing, such as path working, such as shadow work, whatever you're grounding
Mm-hmm.
yourself for. And then again, when you're ready out of grounding, you're going to gradually wake up from your path working session in this case. And then selecting a path is very important. So now we're just back into the general path working.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of went into like
Yeah,
a
so
tunnel.
all of that was preparing to do your
Yes.
path work.
Hmm. And
So
then from
now,
that, we went into a
yeah,
how to
how to,
ground.
mm-hmm.
And now we're back out of that and into selecting a path.
Okay.
So decide on the purpose of your path working session. And again, I know I've already asked this question, but are you seeking guidance from a deity? All that, right? Or are
Mm-hmm.
you connecting to a particular element? I thought that one
See,
was very interesting.
I feel like I would want to do this with fire to start, just to see.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
one of our patrons, Greg, he is plant oriented and earth oriented. So he might want to explore the earth aspect, the earth element,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Based off of the water magic that we talked about last week,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more about water magic and what else I can do with it that I haven't already thought about because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot that we don't really think about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would probably work a little bit with water in this. And I have, what was it? The blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I still have my blue moon magic
Oh, yeah.
water magic,
I left.
moon water. Yeah.
It was Dragon Con, and I put my water out in the moon, and I had the blue moon, and then I left and went to Dragon Con and forgot about it. So it set out, and it's been in the sun and the moons and all of that
So it's
since then.
sun and moon water.
So maybe it's super
It's
powerful.
like
I don't know.
supercharged.
I don't know.
Yeah, I woke up. Well, actually, the night before, I kind of looked like a gremlin because I was like trying to look for my jar, like my biggest jar, because I wanted a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like tearing through the kitchen, making all these clinks and clangs and all of that. And my husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Just, I'm trying to look for a jar."
What are you going to do with your blue moon water?
I
I mean,
don't know.
it's going to be what, 36 years or something before there's another blue moon?
Yeah, yeah.
Something. So, I mean, that's
So
special
I want
water.
to savor it, and it's in my pantry right now in a dark location, so it doesn't, nothing happens
Mm-hmm.
to it.
So it doesn't lose its charge.
Yeah, and so I'm wanting to use it in a jar spell, but I don't know how the jar spell will do with water in it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I might just like flick it a little bit with some moon water and have
I'm
it.
going to take a bath with it.
No, because I don't want to waste it.
It only takes a little bit to put
I
into a
know,
bath.
but I'm one of those people who buys
Ooh,
something and doesn't use it.
are you gonna cook with it? You do kitchen
I
magic.
should I used filtered water too because I knew I was probably going to try to do something with that.
That's very cool. Okay,
But
sorry guys,
anyways,
we're back
yes.
off track again.
So where was I? So selecting a path, select it, and then you go through all of the things that I talked about earlier, like defining your intention. So like your clarify what your path working for, or
Hmm.
identify your focus, or if you're working with a specific deity, you need to research that deity. You need to research on what you're trying to path work on so that you have clear so that you don't go in all fuzzy minded being like, okay, I want to go in working with this deity. Let's say it's Anubis, like how we talked about
Hmm.
in one of our, was it After Dark?
I think it was an After Dark.
And so let's say I want to work with Anubis, but I don't know much about Anubis, but I'm going to do it anyways. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, because
Hmm.
then, like, you're going to be confused. Anubis is going to be confused. It's going to be a whole thing. So, do your research on like specific tools and specific things that you can work with in your path working to align yourself with that deity.
And I would like to say that even though you've done your research and done everything you're supposed to do, you may do this path work and go, wow, this is really not what I want. And that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the purpose of path working too, is to find the paths that you don't want to go
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. And that's completely fine.
Yeah, that's a good thing,
And that's like,
honestly.
that's the reason why you're doing this path
Hmm.
work is to know
To
what
find
path you want to
your,
go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, your path.
Yeah. So do your research, have this knowledge to help create a richer and more detailed visualization for your path work. And then you're going to want to have maybe cultural and personal context. So you're going to want to consider your personal beliefs and your cultural background too, because if you're working with your ancestors in this case,
Hmm.
it's very important. Inner self exploration, like we talked about, and then creating that mental image. So, like, once you've decided on your focus, then you're going to have that mental image, like how I was talking about the apple tree earlier.
Hmm.
You're going to visualize it, what that was, like, along with like a associated theme, or if it's a specific, thing, like a apple, for example, then you
Hmm.
visualize that.
Hmm.
So then you're going to craft your path working. So develop a loose script or plan for this path working session. So outline the journey, interactions, or scenes you would like to encounter along the way. So keep it flexible to allow for spontaneous insights and such. But if you
Okay.
have like I want to walk down a forest and shake hands with Anubis,
Hmm.
it could be something like that.
This reminds me of writing, and I am an unpublished author, so whatever. But there are people that plan for everything and every detail of their plot line, and then there are people that are pantsters, which, if you hadn't guessed it, that would be me, that don't plan anything and you let things take you where everything goes. So
Hmm.
for path working, you want at least a loose idea of where it's going to go.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a total pantster in the path working realm, but you do want to leave it open enough that it can, you're not so rigid that it won't let you go where you're really, you know, supposed to go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that too because you don't want it so rigid that
Hmm.
you know exactly what's going to happen
Yeah.
because then
I'm
what's
going
the
to meet
point?
Anubis and he's going to do this and this is how it's going to be. And
Yeah.
that you're blocking yourself into not being
Yes.
able to
Yes.
go where you need to go.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Then you're going to gather your materials,
Hmm.
like how we talked about. Like Anubis, what did we say? Anubis liked he likes gold and he likes rubies and like stuff like that. So if you I mean not real gold obviously because in this
Or
economy who could
maybe.
maybe um put that on like an
Hey,
altar or lay it out in front of you.
Goldschlager. What is that? What is the alcohol that has gold
Yeah,
in
yeah,
it?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
Hey.
Yeah, put that down, might enjoy a drink too. Um, but gathering your materials, again, setting your mood. What's also very important is stating your intent aloud. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also very important. And then you engage in your journey. You start
Mm-hmm.
by, doing it. By that could be
Yeah.
closing your eyes, taking deep breaths, and allowing that visualization come forth. Then after you're done, journal.
Yeah. Because also, as you're journaling right then, it might not mean anything to you, but later, when you go back and reread it, you're going to go, oh,
Yep. Yep. You are. You're gonna be like, oh, I don't even
hmm,
remember that.
I didn't know. Oh, and that could mean this. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's what it was talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Yeah. Speaking of paths, this really freaked me out. I
Okay.
don't know how I came across this during this research, but did
Mm-hmm.
you know there are paths called elephant paths?
Okay.
It's when you have a set or designed path, but humans go off that path, often in dirt, to get to the same spot. Like, say you've got a sidewalk that goes straight and then has a T,
Yeah.
and humans make this path like the hypotenuse
Like
of
a
the
shortcut.
triangle. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So, you say time worn, well worn paths, for example. So,
Yeah.
if you go into a city like Atlanta, you might have this area that the designer has created these beautiful sidewalks and they border on the park. But if there's a dirt path cutting through it, that is an elephant path.
Oh, I didn't know that's what they were called.
Yeah. And it's important to consider that, okay, what are they doing? They're stepping off of this accepted, recognized path and exploring a different route. So you aren't as likely to follow in the footsteps of the other. I mean, you are some because it becomes a well-worn path,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of the crowd is following the
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 designated,
designated, and you're
like,
like,
yeah.
no, I'm going to go on my own way.
Yeah.
And that's called an elephant path. I thought that was the neatest thing. I
Interesting.
didn't know anything
So
about it.
should we do be hold on, what am I trying to say?
Doobie doobie
Should
doo.
be do should we be the ones to go off on our own elephant paths and not follow what everybody else is doing type of
I think,
thing? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, I do. And I think it's up to you as an individual.
Like, not be a
Me,
follower as much.
me being me, I'm always the one that's like, what's this way? Let's go find out. And there are other people who are more like, no, this is the path. It's all paved. It's easy. This
Yeah,
is the way to
yeah.
go. And I'm like, easy. Let's go. Let's go this
Let's go
way.
this way.
It's a
Yeah,
haunted house.
yeah.
Let's go inside.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I might be the forger of the elephant paths. I don't know. That would be
Um,
me.
that yes, yes, it would be. I mean, I feel like I'm more, well, I feel like I was raised in a way to where rules are rules. Wow, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I can't say that. Rules are rules and they're not meant to be broken, blah blah blah. Like you
Mm-hmm.
fall like oh gosh, I don't even know
I
how to
mean, I
describe
think
it, but
I
I
think
mean, I
that's
always follow the
fair to a
paths.
point.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I mean, a lot
like
of our
I'm
trouble,
always like, no, that's not what we're supposed to do. My husband's like, what do you mean we're not supposed to do that? You can do whatever you want, do what you want in a
yeah.
way. And so I guess that's a why my saying is do what you want, because like I grew up thinking it
Are you
had to be this
rebelling?
way. It had to be that way. I mean, I guess maybe it's kind of like I have super bad anxiety. And so, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like a lot of my anxiety maybe comes from the idea that, you know, if you do something wrong in society, you could end up in jail, blah blah blah. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm. I
trying to
mean,
break the law
true
and stuff like
facts.
that,
True
and
facts.
your
Yeah.
rights are taken away, and you're like, but to me my mind is boggled by that because like we have free will. Like, every person has free will, whether they're in what type of government or whatever. Everyone has free will, but it's just the way we're
But,
taught to
well,
think that it's a whole thing.
society is a whole different. We could go down a rabbit hole
This is
on this
not the
one.
episode to do that. We're already running
Okay.
long.
Okay. Sorry, but that I would love to have that
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
with you.
But I guess I'll just wrap it up. I have a little bit more, but it's kind of repetitive
Mm-hmm.
on we already all know this, but once you're on that path of path working and all of that, and you've written in your journals, you should be open and be receptive, like understand like what
Yeah.
comes in your path working might not be what you need, and that's okay. But it might also be what you need. So keep an open mind. You
Yeah.
have to have, yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't force it to be what you want it to be. You're going to have to be open-minded and look at what it really is,
Yeah.
because you might be
Yeah.
like, but I don't want it to be this, but you know what? It might need to be that.
Yeah. And it's also important to reflect on your symbolism because you might have things that could mean something in your path working. So you
Mm-hmm.
might want to write down, okay, there was a example,
A
there was a
spider.
spider. And so now you're going to want to go in and see what could that spider mean in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And then also apply insights to your life. Consider how the insights gained during your pathworking session apply to your current life situation or spiritual journey, which I
Mm-hmm.
feel like a lot of us probably going like thinking about that. Like, how is
Mm-hmm.
this going to affect my magical practice, my daily life? So
Mm-hmm.
consider everything in that session, I would say, and say what does it mean,
Mm-hmm.
and then repeat and reflect. You sit down for one
Yeah.
path working session, it's not
Yeah.
going to
This is not
completely
a,
work.
that's right. This is not a
Hmm.
one-time thing.
No.
Like shadow
So
work is not a one-time
exactly.
thing.
So,
Yeah.
repeat, reflect, all the same, and then seek validation. So if you encounter specific beings or symbols that you're not familiar with, seek validation from trusted sources or experienced practitioners where they can provide you with additional perspectives or their experiences, etc.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk a little bit about path work using tarot because,
Mm-hmm.
as I said, I'm into tarot right
Yeah.
now. Really fascinating to me. And I read that it's best to start with the major arcana, which we did an episode on the
Mm-hmm.
major
Yeah.
arcana. But did you know that every tarot birth card, everybody has a tarot birth card associated with the major arcana? And
Ooh.
it's kind of like we did the math numerology episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. What you do is you add up your birthday. So, like if you're born on October 2nd, 1980, you would add the 1 plus the 0 plus the 2 plus the 1 plus the 9
Mm-hmm.
plus the 8
Mm-hmm.
plus the 0. That equals 21. Now, in the major arcana, there are 22 cards, and card number 21 is the last card because it starts with 0.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you could go with that 21, or you could break it down further and add the 2 plus the 1 to get 3.
Okay.
So the 2 plus the 1 to get 3 is the Empress, and 21 is the world.
Ooh.
So you can then look up what those mean. So you can do your birthday and figure out
Uh-huh.
what
Uh-huh.
your major arcana card is. But basically, if you're going to use Pathwork using tarot, you separate out the major arcana and you can choose a card, however that feels right to you. Some people want to lay them all out and then choose one.
Yeah.
Some people want to just shuffle them and pull one out like, like a magic trick. You pull one out that way. Um, but however it feels best to you, go ahead and pull a card. You be sure to fully concentrate on your chosen card and do your very best to memorize every detail in that card. Close your eyes, visualize it, and open it up, look at it again. Close your eyes. Do that until it's totally engraved in your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Next, you imagine that card getting bigger and bigger and bigger until the figures in it are life size. And then you step into that card.
Ooh.
You immerse yourself into that vision completely, and you carefully observe the view beyond and what the image on the card normally shows. Look carefully and try to absorb every sensation, the sound, taste, touch, smell. There's 5 of them, whatever they are. Uh, Looking, sight, that's
Sight.
the other one. Um, most cards of the major arcana have characters on them. They might have animals on them. So try to communicate with the people in the card.
Mm-hmm.
See how they interact to you. How does the story develop as you're in there? Let your imagination go. Ask them questions. Sometimes you might be guided by deep messages filled with this wisdom, and other times you might have a jokester character that, makes a joke or plays a trick on you. Some cards possess deep archetypal energies, and some might be lighter or whimsical.
Mm-hmm.
You can also choose to see yourself as the figure on the card. Become that person, that archetype, that animal. Don't be afraid to go deeper and explore further. It's kind of like astral projection. Um, you want to immerse yourself in that. See each tarot card as a guide with a lot of wisdom to offer. And then return to your tarot pathworking meditation practice from time to time to see if things have changed. See what advice you might get the next time. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we said, it's not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then journal about it, of course.
How many times are we gonna journal about it? But yeah, and then also remember that the purpose of pathworking is to deepen your understanding of yourself, your spirituality, and the universe.
Hmm.
Every encounter and insight contributes to your personal growth and spiritual evolution. So approach these experiences with an open heart and willingness to learn. In your completion, you will like feel your journey has come to a conclusion, and then you can thank everything that has helped you. So if you feel
Hmm.
like you're done with pathworking, like you've done multiple sessions and you feel like you're done, then thank the universe, thank everything that has helped you come to that conclusion, and then begin the process of returning your physical surroundings, all of that. So pretty much that's it.
Hmm. Hmm. And journal, of course.
Journal.
And then if you were looking for your path in terms of what kind of magic to practice, like we talked about, kitchen witch or whatever, then you go back and you look at your journal notes, especially if you've done it multiple times, and you
Mm-hmm.
see what stands out to you. Is there a lot of fire? Is there a lot of food? Are there specific elements, animals? Were there images of a certain type of location? Like, is it all city? Is it all forest? Or is it all open fields? Is it the ocean? Use this information to start following your own path in your magic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then, does this seem like too much trouble? Well, consider this quote that I found. Surprise, surprise. We must take time to define our own path. Too quickly, we can find the world defining it for us. And that was by unknown. No one knows who
Oh,
did that.
wow.
But how true is that? If we don't take charge of ourselves, everything's going to happen to us.
Yeah. Yeah. For
It's
real.
the
For
world is
real.
going to choose for us. So
For real.
let's make sure we choose for
Yeah, I
ourselves.
struggle with that a lot. Like I said, like a couple episodes ago, I feel like I was an NPC that like woke up,
Mhm.
and so a lot of my stuff is fuzzy, but I'm also dealing with like I'm trying to figure it out without letting everybody else tell me what I'm supposed to do type of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm having a hard time. And then those uncomfortable situations, like you're never gonna get anywhere if you don't put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Mhm.
I just
I
don't
mean,
like
that's
being
true.
uncomfortable.
I know. Nobody does. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to make us grow.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's
um,
all we have.
yes,
Thank you
that's all
for
we have. Thank you
listening.
for listening. Do you want me to do the outro?
Yeah, you do the outro.
Okay. I found an old set of notes.
Yay.
So you can find us at our all of our information at our website at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you will find our episodes, links to our social medias, links to our merch, and that's at www.c3witchypodcastmerch.com.
Mhm.
So we have spooky season merch out right now for a limited time only,
Limited time.
and I cannot like stress that enough. You will only be able to purchase it up until November 1st.
And you guys, there's some really cool designs. So if you want
Some
these
really
designs,
cool.
you've
And
got to get them.
we are hearing you guys when you guys say it's a bit pricey. We do completely
We
understand.
understand. Yeah.
We're trying to, and I mean, everything that would go, like if you purchase a shirt, everything that we get goes back into the podcast. Like nothing goes into our pockets. Everything goes back into making this podcast the best
Yes.
as we can do. So, I mean, it's not anything like that. So, I mean, we do understand. And you don't have to buy our merch to support us. Just listening to us, just downloading our episodes, reviewing us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and or following us on Facebook and our social medias on YouTube. YouTube is a big one. If you just subscribe, that's a big help. So please support us on Patreon and everything like that too.
For sure.
And Buzzsprout.
And Buzzsprout, yeah.
Because there you'll get access to our After Dark series on both of those platforms, plus extra goodies on Patreon, like guided meditations, witchy to-do lists, recipes, spells, more, all of that. I think I
Good
covered
stuff.
everything. Yeah.
I think so. So we'll
So
be back.
we'll be back.
And until then, stay witchy.